What if I told you the brightest angel in heaven became the darkest force in history? The fall of Lucifer wasn't silence. It was a thunder that split eternity. Archaeology whispers of a shining one cast down. But why do so many ancient cultures remember the same fall? Imagine beauty so perfect it became dangerous. That was Lucifer. The light-bearer rose to take the throne, but fell like lightning instead. Mesopotamian tablets, Ugaritic myths, Greek legends, all tell of a radiant being who challenged the divine and was struck down. Heaven became a battlefield, swords of light clashing with shadows. Can you hear it? His voice once led worship, now it commands rebellion. Lucifer's fall wasn't just cosmic. It landed here, on Earth. The adversary's fury didn't die in the abyss. It ignited. If he fell once, what happens when he rises? Not to heaven, but against us. The story of Lucifer's fall is not finished. It's unfolding before your very eyes. So the real question is, are we living in the aftermath of his fall, or the shadow of his return? Lucifer was God's personal guardian angel, standing closer to the throne than anyone else. 9 precious stones covered his body: sardius, topaz, diamond, beryl, onyx, jasper, sapphire, emerald, and carbuncle, each one reflecting God's glory like living fire. God made him heaven's worship leader with the most beautiful voice. But being so close to God's power made him want something terrible to receive the worship himself. Oh, before the sun ever burned, before the first star was born, before time had a name, there was heaven. Music, and in heaven, one angel stood closer to God than all the others combined. Music, while millions of angels sang from distant halls, this one guarded the throne itself. His music name would become the most feared in human history. His name was Lucifer, the light-bearer. He wasn't just pretty. He wasn't just talented. He was the absolute best at everything. Imagine being so perfect that other angels couldn't even look directly at you. That was Lucifer. God had created thousands of angels, millions maybe. Each one had a job. Some carried messages. Others guarded holy places. But God gave Lucifer the most important job of all. He was the covering cherub, the personal bodyguard of God's throne. Nobody got closer to God than Lucifer. Nobody. Think about that for a second. What would it feel like to stand that close to pure power, to be trusted with the most important place in the universe? Music, when Lucifer sang, and oh how he could sing, heaven itself would stop to listen. His voice wasn't just beautiful, it was alive. Could make you feel things you'd never felt before. Joy so strong it hurt, peace so deep you could drown in it. The other angels would forget what they were doing and just listen. Music. His body was covered with 9 precious stones that don't even exist on earth. Each one caught God's light and threw it back in colors that would make rainbows look gray. His wings, they burned with cold fire that never went out. Music, when he walked, light followed him like a loyal dog. Perfect. That's the only word for it. 0 mistakes, 0 flaws, 0 problems. Or so everyone thought. But perfection was becoming poison. Every day Lucifer noticed things. How the other angels bowed when he passed. How they whispered his name with awe. How even Michael, the great warrior, stepped aside when Lucifer approached. See, Lucifer had everything. Beauty that could blind you, power that could break you, music that could control you. But he had to use all of it to serve someone else, to worship someone else. Music. He was the best servant in heaven, but still a servant. Now imagine you're Lucifer. You look around and see millions of angels bowing to you. copying you, wanting to be you. You hear them whisper about how amazing you are. You know you're the favorite, the special one, the morning star. But then you look up and there's still someone above you. Always above you. Forever above you. What would you think? What would you feel? What would you want? One day, Lucifer looked at his reflection in heaven's crystal sea. He saw his own glory shining back. And for the first time in eternity, a thought appeared. A thought so dangerous, so impossible that there wasn't even a word for it yet. What if I didn't have to bow? The brightest angel was about to become the darkest enemy. Music. How does something perfect break when nothing is broken around it? It happened during the most important announcement in heaven's history. Music, the day God revealed his plan for humanity. Lucifer was standing before God's throne like always. But this time, God had called every single angel in heaven. Millions of them packed together, waiting. The air itself seemed to vibrate with anticipation. Music. I'm going to create something new, God announced. The angels leaned in. New? What could be better than heaven? What could be more perfect than angels? I will create humans. I will make them in my own image. Wait, what? In God's image? The angels looked at each other, confused. They weren't made in God's image. They were servants, messengers, warriors. But these new things, these humans would actually look like God, think like God, create like God. But God wasn't done. The next words would crack heaven in half. Music, one day, my own son will become one of them. He would be born as a human baby, and through him they will rule over everything. Even angels will serve them. The words hit Lucifer like a slap. Serve them. Serve them. These creatures that didn't even exist yet. These things made of dirt and spit. He was supposed to bow down to mud. Music, the other angels started singing, celebrating God's plan. But Lucifer, he stood frozen. His mind was screaming number. No, 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 no. He was the covering cherub. He was the morning star. He was perfect. Look at him, covered in jewels, wrapped in light, voice like thunder and honey mixed together. And God wanted him to babysit mud puppets. Music, something inside him snapped. Actually snapped like a perfect glass vase hitting concrete. For the first time ever, Lucifer felt something new, something hot and ugly and powerful. It started in his chest like a tiny flame. Then it grew and grew and grew until it felt like he would explode. Music pride, the first pride to ever exist. The feeling rushed through him like poison in his veins. Felt good. I could run heaven better than God. Not I want to help. Not I want to serve better. But I could be God. That's when the poison really took hold. Every second it grew stronger. Every moment it spread further. Like ink dropped in water, swirling, spreading, staining everything it touched. Lucifer smiled at the other angels. He sang with them. He pretended to celebrate. But inside he was already planning, already scheming, already falling. Music. Music, the perfect angel, had become heaven's first liar. Music, imagine music convincing a third of heaven to walk away from God himself. Music, Lucifer did it in just 7 words. You deserve what God will not give. He didn't start with the powerful angels. Too risky. He started with the forgotten ones. The angels who cleaned. The ones who stood guard at empty gates. The ones whose names nobody knew. Music. I see you. God doesn't even know your name. But I do. They'd look up, shocked that the morning star was talking to them. You deserve better. We all do. Music. Applause. Music. Music. Applause. Music. 7 words. A little attention, a little flattery, a little lie mixed with truth, like poison and honey, sweet enough to swallow, deadly enough to kill. The whispers spread like wildfire. Lucifer's strategy was flawless. He never said rebel. He just asked questions. If God is love, why does he demand worship? If we have free will, why can't we use it? What is he hiding from us? Soon, angels were meeting in secret. Lucifer says, we'll be gods ourselves. We'll have our own kingdoms, our own worship. Music Michael noticed first. The warrior angel saw a group scatter when he approached. Heard conversation stop mid-sentence. Felt the tension building like a storm about to break. Something's wrong. He told Gabriel. Music a very wrong. They tried to warn others, but Lucifer had already poisoned the well. Of course, they're against us. They're God's favorites. They want to keep us down. Music, then came the choosing. Every angel had to decide. God or Lucifer, creator or creation, truth or lies. 1/3 chose Lucifer. 1 out of every 3 angels looked at God who gave them life, purpose, everything and said, we choose someone else. The moment of truth came when Lucifer marched to God's throne, not to worship, to demand. Applause. Music. I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above God's stars. I will be the Most High. The words shattered heaven's peace like glass breaking. War erupted instantly. And what a war! For the king, he cried. God's armies answered. Lucifer pulled darkness itself into a blade for freedom. And the rebels charged. Music brighter. Music one voice against forever. Music heaven shook. Angels who had sung together now tried to destroy each other. Swords of light crashed against shields of shadow. Wings that once danced now struck like hammers. The sound was terrible, like the universe itself was screaming. Lucifer fought with fury that could melt stars. Michael fought with righteousness that could shatter mountains. They met in the center and their collision sent shock waves through eternity. Music, but you can't beat God. Not even close. The rebels fell one by one. Their light fading, their beauty twisting. And Lucifer, he ended up on his knees, defeated, his perfect face now ugly with rage. Get out. God's voice boomed, and they fell. 1/3 of heaven's angels falling into darkness. They were like children who didn't know fire could burn. And Satan, he was about to become their teacher. He watched them for days, studying, learning their patterns. Eve liked to walk alone in the morning. Adam got distracted easily. They both loved the garden center where 2 special trees grew. The tree of life they could eat from the tree of knowledge. They couldn't perfect. Satan whispered. He took the form of a serpent, not a scary snake. This was the most beautiful creature in Eden besides the humans. It walked on legs covered in jewels that caught the light. When it moved, it looked like a rainbow sliding through the grass. Satan waited by the forbidden tree. Patient, ready, Eve came by humming. She stopped to look at the tree like she did every day. So close, so curious, so easy. Did God really say you can't eat from any tree? The serpent asked. Eve jumped. You can talk. Of course I can talk. But answer my question. Did God really say that? Satan's first move was brilliant. He didn't command. He questioned. He didn't push. He pulled. He made Eve defend God's command, which made her think about it differently. No, Eve said, relaxing. We can eat from every tree except this one. If we eat from it, we'll die. The serpent laughed. Not a mean laugh, a surprised laugh. Like Eve had said something silly. Die. You won't die. Want to know a secret? Eve leaned in. Everyone loves secrets. God knows that when you eat this fruit, your eyes will open. You'll see what he sees. Know what he knows. You'll be gods yourselves. That's why he's keeping it from you. Eve's face changed. Keeping it from us. Look at it. Music. Really look, Satan urged. The fruit seemed to glow. It was perfect, ripe, beautiful. And suddenly, Eve wasn't seeing a forbidden tree. She was seeing stolen possibilities. God has everything, the serpent whispered. God has everything. All knowledge, all power, and he's keeping you here, naked and ignorant like pets. Don't you want more? Don't you deserve more? Eve's hand moved toward the fruit, stopped, moved again. She called. He came running. Serpent says, she started. I heard. Adam said he'd been there the whole time listening, thinking. They looked at each other, then at the fruit, then at each other again. Together, they reached out. The fruit came off easily, too easily, like it wanted to be picked. Eve bit first, then Adam. Paradise wasn't stolen. It was traded. Paradise died with that first swallow. Innocence shattered like crystal. Their eyes opened to shame, fear, and death. Exactly what Satan wanted. Music from Eden, Satan's shadow spread across time. But God had already promised his end. And that promise haunted Satan every single day. One day, a child born from woman will crush your head. God had said a human child, would destroy him. Satan became obsessed. Every baby born made him nervous. Every woman who got pregnant became a target. He had to stop that child from coming. Music Satan struck first through Cain and Abel. Satan found Cain in the fields, angry that God preferred his brother's offering. Your little brother thinks he's better than you, Satan whispered. His blood would make good fertilizer for your crops. Cain's hands shook. Kill my brother. Kill the competition. And he did. The first, music. Abel's blood soaked into the ground and Satan laughed.